Happy Tuesday, everyone. We have a short little gasser coming your way after that long kind of squatting, stepping kind of variation workout yesterday. We got a short, fast, intense one for you today. So before we get to that, let's talk about our warm-up. Our warm-up is going to consist of a nice mix of upper and lower. We're going to work on some dynamic triangle for 3 to 5 a side, windmill for 6 to 10 alternating reps, goblet squat for 3 at a 3-1-3, dumbbell sumo deadlift for 3 a side, suitcase calf raise for 20 seconds, 10 seconds per side. 2 to 3 rounds there just to get things fired up, get everything ready to go. They're going to move down to the bottom piece, which is going to consist of a little bit of jumping. So we're going to do some lateral ski jumps with that vertical hop for 20 seconds of steady. Into our dumbbell sumo deadlift high pull plus hang snatch, little combo complex there, 2 to 3 per side. Dumbbell lateral high knee step over for 20 seconds, just nice and steady. Deadbug for 6 to 10 alternating, and ankle pop or skip for 10 to 20 seconds. Just work on some skipping position and get those ankles and knees ready for action. 3 to 5 rounds there, get yourself ready. They're going to move into our work set today, which is a 9-minute AMRAP. So this 9-minute AMRAP is going to consist of 10 hang alternating dumbbell snatches. So the hang means you're just going to take it from above the knee and then into that nice power snatch. So above the knee, power snatch. So not going to the floor. You'll do 10 total count into 5 pike sit-ups, and then you're going to do 30 double unders or a double under equivalent for 30 reps, and or a very similar option for different work sets. And you're going to repeat that for 9 minutes. So our goal is to go fast, steady, and keep it up the whole time. So try not to stop too much. Perhaps maybe if you're skipping, you catch your foot maybe, take a breath and go from there. But we want to make sure we're focused on keeping that body moving and keeping it steady. All right, let's get you warmed up, ready for action. We'll have some fun tonight. All right, let's start by getting those feet under those hips. We're going to take the arms big and tall. We're going to reach over to one side, keep those glutes engaged a bit. We'll come back up, take it to the other side. Come back up, we're going to bring those hands to the hips. We'll take the hips around, nice and gentle. Make sure those hips are ready. We did a little bit of work yesterday with those standing marches and squats, so we want to make sure they're good and open. We'll go the other way. A little bit of a glute squeeze when we do these circles, and that'll keep the pelvis kind of nice and balanced. From here, we're going to come back to center, bring our feet together. Gentle little circles around the knees, waking up the ankles. And we'll go the other way. Nice and easy. Nice and gentle. Good. From here, we're going to take those feet apart. Big stretch overhead. Bring the hands down behind the neck. Ribs are in. Reach an elbow. Come back down. Reach an elbow. And down. And elbow. Down. Elbow. Down. 2 more. Elbow. Down. And elbow. And down. We're going to reach up overhead. We're going to reach to the side. A little side bend again. Little side bend. Take it back to the T, turn those hands in, turn them out, turn them in, turn them out, and turn them in, and turn them out. Big stretch again, big side bend, big reach, and a big old reach. Oh, nice little forward fold. We're going to touch those toes, walk up the shins, come down, plant both hands, step back into our plank. We're going to pull our ribs and hips in, shoulders up. We're going to pull back into our down dog. We're going to press a heel, back to center, into our plank, and pull back into our down dog. Touch a heel, back to center. One more time. Nice plank, back into the down dog. Press the heel, and press the heel. We'll come back to center, pulling into that good plank. Tiptoe those feet up. Roll ourselves up, big stretch. Good, big reach. And then we'll come down with those hands. Get you guys fired up and ready to go. If you'd like to do a little bit more gentle warm-up, a little bit of lizard lunging, rotation work, cat-cows, please do so. Be my guest. Pause the video, take it down. I'm going to get you going into that first phase of warm-up, which is just, again, going to touch on basically top to bottom, give you a little once-over of the body. And we're going to start off with our dynamic triangle. So our dynamic triangle, again, is going to kind of initiate through our sumo stance. One toe is gonna point directly to the side, the other toe on the angle. Nice set hips. We're gonna plant our hand, take the arm up to the ceiling, press into the sky, and just pull the hip back into that nice hinge. And then we're gonna squeeze and come back up. We're gonna pull that hip back, pulling the hip back. And we're gonna stand her tall. And then again, one more rep, we're gonna pull the hip back. Again, getting this hip kind of displacement to get the body on that angle. We're gonna trace down that shin, keeping the arm up, and then a good smooth stance. So the arm always stays right up to the ceiling, active position that whole time. And we have to remember that we initiate through our hips, just like if we were gonna do a good morning. It's just a little different. We're not going straight back, we're going into the heel, all right? Then we switch sides. The biggest thing to remember when we switch sides is to make sure that we have a proper distance between our feet. Because sometimes we can get a little too wide or just a little too narrow, and then we get jammed up in that transition to the opposite side. After that dynamic triangle, we're gonna stay in this sumo stance. We're gonna work on our windmill. So we did this yesterday in our warm-up because this is a great piece of warm-up for that T-spine and those hips. So we're gonna take our arm up overhead. And you can load this lightly if you'd like, or not, but we're gonna keep that armpit pointing straight ahead so you can feel that lat, that whole side body kick on into that position. And we're gonna pull the hips back and we're gonna rotate at the low rib, keeping that shoulder in that strong position the entire time. And then we come back up, and then we find that same position as we pull back into position. We want to make sure that we're rotating through the rib and the shoulder moves with the rotation, not the shoulder moving on its own accord as we move and rotate our torso. So we want to make sure the shoulder stays stable and the body moves at the low rib in that rotation. So one more rep for you guys. I'll press up. I pull back with soft knees, rotate low rib, and I'm only going to take it as deep as I feel comfortable. So if I don't feel comfortable touching the floor, don't go to the floor. Just to go to where you feel that nice sensation, that good shoulder position, and then come back out. Work to your edge. That's where we want to be. Our next exercise, we did quite a few of them yesterday. We're going to revisit the goblet squat. Now we're just using this to open up our hips. We're not actually squatting in our workout today, but we do want to give those legs a little bit of juice back to them. So my regular squat stance, I'm going to pull the dumbbell up under my chin. I'm going to turn profile so you guys can see my hips and my back angle. I'm going to stay tight. I'm going to keep my weight through my midfoot so my feet are flat. I'm going to pull the hips to my heels, keeping the knees tracking the toes and my weight through my midfoot. And I'm going to push through those feet and stand. So again, I want to actively pull the hips to the heels, nice and solid, and then stand tall. I'm only going as deep as I can maintain my upright torso and that good balance through the feet. Right after that, though, we're going to move into a deadlift. We're going to work on that hinge. So instead of squatting, we're going to take the dumbbell in one hand, staying in that squat stance. We are going to pull the hips back, and then we're going to drop the hips down as we lower towards the floor. And we want to treat this a little bit more like a squat than a traditional deadlift because we want to mimic the dumbbell snatch. So our hips are going to be a tad lower than they normally would be if I was doing a conventional deadlift. So again, we draw the hips back, the dumbbell comes to the knee, and then I lower the hips and shoulders together, and those hips drop a little deeper than normal, and I stand tall. Don't worry about touching the dumbbell to the floor. What I want you guys to think about is going as deep as you can maintain that back angle and that good balance between the feet. After the sumo deadlift, 3 per side, you're going to hold the dumbbell to the side, and for 10 seconds on this side, you're going to work on a nice, smooth calf raise. And then as we hit that 10 seconds, you're going to change sides, setting that upper body, keeping it as still as we can, keeping the glutes tight, the core tight. It's really just the ankles that are moving and the feet that are moving. When I do these calf raises, I want to try and keep equal weight between the pinky toe and the big toe so that I'm not rolling out to the outside onto my pinky. I'm staying square between that nice, solid foot. All right, so don't worry about a ton of reps. Just worry about trying to stay balanced between the pinky toe and the big toe, and working for continuous motion for that 20 seconds. Quick recap for that first piece. We have a dynamic triangle of 3 to 5 a side. Windmill for 6 to 10 alternating, or 3 to 5 per side if you find it easier to do all on one side than going back and forth. Goblet squat for 3 reps at a 3-1-3 tempo, just to open up the hips and the legs. Dumbbell sumo deadlift for 3 a side, and then suitcase calf raise for 20 seconds, 10 seconds per hand. 2 to 3 rounds of that, take that down, get things kind of fired up, make sure everything feels okay. We're gonna move into the next phase, and that's gonna involve a little bit of jumping. So I want that body ready to go for these jumps, all right? So for this next phase of our dynamic warm-up, I'm just gonna get the dumbbell out of the way so I don't fall or trip on it. We're gonna work on that lateral ski jump. So we have lateral ski plus RDL jump if you'd like, or just lateral ski. So I'm gonna do that first, and then show you with that vertical hop after. So I load this leg, and again, I'm gonna use my arms to get that momentum as I jump across, and I swing jump, and I work that back and forth motion. Now, it's okay to use that momentum of the arms and the body to get that shift, but we wanna make sure that we can control the lateral energy on the other side. So make sure we're jumping as far as we can control, not as far as we possibly can. We wanna make sure we're jumping with control. Now, if you're not a jumper, you can still do that with a step. We swing, step, swing, step, swing, step. And we get that nice smooth flow, putting that foot down before we even lift the other one off the ground. Now, if you'd like to add in that vertical hop, we can do one of 2 things. We can do the hop, or we can just start by building the balance necessary to go vertical. So first things first, I'll show you the hop. So I get set, I swing, jump. So I get that little vertical switch. Swing, good. Swing, jump. So I get that nice little lift. Now, if you're like, yeah, that looks fun, I would like to try shifting this into the next phase, but I don't quite got the hop yet, then what you can do is you can swing, high knee, so you can work on the balance. Swing, high knee. So you can work on changing directions in that vertical position, or into the vertical position, without leaving the ground. And it just brings that idea of control and stability into that movement. So take your time. You don't have to jump right into the jump, literally. You can work on that high knee and work on that side of control before we start leaving the ground. Now it's 20 seconds. Take down as many reps as you can with good control and good movement. And then we're gonna move into our dumbbell sumo deadlift high pull plus hang snatch. So this little complex is gonna involve 2 movements, one of which is gonna come from the floor. We're gonna work on that nice deadlift to the high pull. So I'm gonna get set up, grabbing that dumbbell. I'm gonna push through my legs, open up the knees and the hips, and then let that momentum carry into that high pull, bring that dumbbell to my sternum. Then I'm gonna move into a hang power snatch. So I'm gonna take the dumbbell to the knee, and then I'm gonna drive through the legs, pulling into that snatch. Still using that high pull action to keep the dumbbell close as I pull myself into the bottom of the squat. Then I'll switch sides and I'll do it again on the other side. So I'll take it down to where I feel comfortable. It doesn't necessarily have to be the floor, but wherever I can maintain that back position. Pushing through those feet and legs, I open, I come back down, I get set, take the dumbbell to the knee, and snatch. Feeling that good punch overhead, that power landing, giving yourself a moment there before you move to the next rep. That's gonna give you a really nice opportunity to work on that leg drive to get that dumbbell moving so we're not using too much arm. We wanna make sure that we're using the legs and the hips to move that dumbbell, move that weight, and to just use the arm to guide us underneath and support overhead. So play with that complex. It's a nice little smooth complex. Allows you to pull from the floor for that high pull, and then move into the movement we're gonna use in the workout today, which is the hang dumbbell snatch. After that, we're gonna work on a dumbbell lateral step over with a high knee. So we're gonna work on imagining like this dumbbell is up here, and you're gonna step up and over and around. Up and over and around. working on that nice big step, like you're stepping over a fence or a hedge. You're gonna do that for 20 seconds, just nice and steady. To work on opening up your hips a bit in that nice circular motion. So it's kind of a nice movement to cross the hip across the body and then circle it around over top, pick it up and bring it back in, right? So we circle and then bring it back in. So nice big circles. Big is a relative term. So it depends on what your hips and your mobility are like on that. So take your time, work on the size of that circle that works for you. Last but not least, we have 2 more movements to go through. One of which is gonna fire up our core and our hips as well, which is the Deadbug. So I'm gonna get myself set up on my back like I'm gonna do a bridge. I'm gonna pull my ribs and hips in so there's no space. I'm gonna lift my feet up so my knees are over my hips and my feet are at a 90 degree. My hands are gonna be above, and I'm going to extend my right hand, my left foot, as far as I can, and I'm gonna come back in. Isolating one side at a time, so we want to make sure we're moving slow. And we also want to make sure we're keeping the low back in contact with the floor. So we're always pulling those ribs in and maintaining contact with the floor. If you feel your back starting to lift up off the floor, don't go as far or extend as far in that reach. Just go to where you can maintain position and take it from there. If you've been following the core challenge, there's another option that we've been playing with as well for everyone, which is just a toe tap and then come back up. So we keep the knee bent, that low back stays flat, I extend the arm, but I keep my knee bent. So you can play with that as well as a building block into that next phase of getting that leg straight and full extension through the hip. So build it up, have some fun with it. It's there to balance out the hips, shoulders, and core. It's just gonna give you a nice chance to rest from the dynamic work, but also open up the hips. Now, last but not least, we have the ankle pop or the skip. So the ankle pop is that variation that we can use to train the skip in terms of posture, all right? And if we don't have space to skip, it's a great alternative because it's the same posture. You just don't have to worry about rope. So you're gonna get your elbows in relatively tight. Your hands are gonna be relaxed. Palms are up like you're holding a skipping rope. Shoulders are relaxed as well. But you're gonna have a little bit of tension through the glutes and the core. So we're keeping this section tight and set so that when I hop, I can use that tension through here to get a nice solid rebound off the floor. So my ankles and my knees are soft and relaxed, and then I'm gonna allow that midsection to stay tall so it can maintain good posture. I can also work on power jumps. And the power jump is the nice timing drill to work on double unders. So as soon as I jump, as soon as my foot bam, hits the ground, my wrists make a circle, that's my trigger to do that skip and do that double under. So the timing factor there is key. So it's a nice timing exercise if you'd like to build into double under practice. If you can skip and you have space, you can mix and match 10 seconds of ankle pops, 10 seconds of skipping, or you can do 10 to 20 seconds of skipping and see where it takes you. All right? So use those, build up that ankle, build up those pops, have some fun with it, see where it takes you, need about warm up. 3 to 5 rounds, quick little recap. We have a lateral ski jump plus RDL jump if you'd like, or just lateral ski, 20 seconds. Dumbbell sumo deadlift high pull plus hang snatch, 2 to 3 per side. You can alternate that. You can do a couple on the same side, a couple on the other side. It's up to you. Dumbbell high knee step over, 20 seconds just to work on some nice opening rotation through the hips. Deadbug for 6 to 10 alternating reps with a nice smooth cadence. And then ankle pop / skip anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds, or combining the two, 10 to 20 seconds of mix and matching. 3 to 5 rounds. Take that down, work that body, get everything ready to go. We're going to talk about the movements in our workout today. So the hang snatch we've already talked about in our warm-up. So if you need any key points of performance, check that out. The biggest thing we're looking for here, and as a reminder for you guys, is that we're going to deadlift the dumbbell all the way up first, and then we're just going to take it to the knees. So we're going to keep the dumbbell above the knee, and then we're going to land in that power position. So try your hardest to work on pulling under the dumbbell. Even if it's not very deep, still work to pull under. Fight the urge to muscle snatch every snatch. We want to save the arms. We want to kind of build that idea of that skill transfer exercise into our barbell snatch. And that teaches us how to get underneath of the weight. We want to make sure we're blending those worlds and building that skill and practicing that skill any way we can. So really focus on drawing into that power position, giving yourself a second, stand tall, come back down. The other piece I want you guys to really focus on today with these hang dumbbell snatches is landing locked out. So when your feet hit the ground, that arm should be locked out strong. All right, we want to make sure that we're not landing soft. We're landing bam, in that nice locked out arm overhead, because that's a very efficient way to handle the load overhead. Our next exercise is our Pike Sit Up. So I'm going to lay on my back, and I'm going to lay down, toes are together, legs as straight as I can make them. I'm going to lay down, touching my hands above, sitting up, and touching those toes, or touching as far down my shins and thighs as I can. So we're going to let the hamstring mobility decide where I'm able to go in this sit-up. Okay? So take your time with those. They're nice, they're fun. Make sure that we check behind us that there's nothing on the floor, because sometimes we travel when we do those sit-ups. If you need a little assistance factor, you can anchor your toes, or you can just sort of hold a dumbbell in between your feet and use it as a little bit of an anchor point just to help us get up with a little bit of assistance with that dumbbell for our snatch. So check that out, have some fun with it, work those pike sit-ups. There's only 5, but you're gonna hit them a few times in the work set. Our last exercise is our double under, and we're gonna have some different options at the bottom of the workout description for you. All movements you've done before, one of which being the ankle pop if you'd like to work on that, or some other options as well. So check that out. You're gonna have a lot of options for the double under, some different cardio options too if you have access to some different machines at home. But yeah, we have a 9-minute AMRAP, dumbbell, hang snatch for 10 alternating back and forth, 5 pike sit-ups, 30 double unders, or that equivalent exercise. I hope you guys enjoy this one. You guys can be fast, and be furious, and I'm excited to hear about it. So let me know how this one goes, you guys. As always, work for quality, have fun, and we'll see you tomorrow for another fun little work set. Bye, everyone.